Good evening. I once went to an auction where they said, shh, 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 shh. It works. All former teachers know all you have to do is stare for a while and they get quiet. So I want to welcome everyone this evening to the 13th Annual George Peabody Legacy Award, sponsored by the Peabody Education Foundation. And I want to say thank you to all of you for attending, but I want to say congratulations to all of our recipients this evening. We have a great class of 2025. Now, if I can indulge you just for 1 minute, the foundation had a very difficult year this year, losing a 40-year member. If you all could just bow your head and reflect, I'm sure she's listening. Barbara Kelly is up there watching down, so please, a moment of silence. Thank you all very much. We all love Barbara. Tonight is a celebration. It's a celebration of those who have given much and expected very little. And we really appreciate all that they've given this community. And so tonight we're celebrating your accomplishments as recipients, and we want you to please enjoy the evening. And remember one thing, when you get up here to make your remarks, try to keep it under 5 minutes. Only because the people in the back start throwing things at you. The Peabody Ed Foundation was founded in 1985 as the Peabody Education Council. It was the brainchild of Mayor Pete Terigian, the Peabody Federation of Teachers, and businesses who felt that it was important that we join together and come up with a common cause to help the children in the city of Peabody. We're going to show you a video loop, which is kind of an overview. And the reason why we're showing you that is because my wife gives me the cut sign every year. So I figure it's a lot easier for you to see it than for me to tell you about it. And please know that every year we're trying to do more than the prior year. Last year, we were able to give back to the schools over $165,000 in educational assistance for the classrooms. In total, over 40 years, we've exceeded $2.5 million in give back to the community. The only way, thank you. The only way we do that is through the generosity of people like you and your peers throughout the system, as well as many of the businesses that you'll see in the sponsor loop. So the needs get greater, the costs get higher, but we have still one basic mission in mind, which is we are going to provide those additional resources to the classrooms to give the children of Peabody the best possible education that they can have in the most unique experiences that they can have and address community concerns as we do that. So you'll see in the loop, there's a little QR code, peabodyedfoundation.org. If you feel like there's some place before the end of the year that you want to give because you know every single dollar goes back into school. We have no paid staff. We're all volunteers, and we will put the money to good work. I can guarantee you that. So if we could run the loop on the Peabody Ed Foundation, I'd appreciate it.
In a perfect world, teachers would have all the funding and resources they need to guide and teach their students. Unfortunately, we live in a world where budgets only go so far, and often teachers who have great ideas are not given the funds to support it. That's where the Peabody Education Foundation steps in. We provide those additional resources, both human and financial, to make those great ideas a reality. Since 1985, the PEF has worked behind the scenes to bring an extra level of support to our schools. We are helping our schools to educate and build a future generation by breaking down the barriers that stop innovation from flowing. Here are some of the programs we offer that are available to your classrooms this school year. Our signature program, PEF Grants, is built to fund great ideas that you have to enhance learning in your classroom. This program provides funding that allows you, the teacher, to implement programs and events that will be most beneficial for your students. These proposed programs are often not able to be funded through the school, and through the generosity of our community, we are able to fund them. Take a look at some of the amazing programs we've funded that were handpicked by our Peabody teachers.
Without the Peabody Education Foundation, we would not have been able to give this type of experience to every student in the building from kindergarten to 5th grade. We were able to have a field trip within our building as opposed to having all of the students leave our building to visit a museum, and the students have enjoyed every minute of it, and they are learning, working together, and having fun.
Peabody Education Foundation has given this program lots of donations and lots of STEAM project stuff for the kids to do. This program has been a blessing to the school and to the students.
So the Peabody Education Foundation has granted us with the Stay Sharp barbering program, and it allowed us to buy really wonderful professional tools for our students to use. So the caliber of the tools that we got, we really can't get with the budget that we have, so it's nice when there's community partners that will award us money to be able to buy really nice tools.
If you have a great idea for a program and need funds beyond what your school budget allows, make sure to fill out the PEF Grants application on our website. Applications will be accepted on a rolling basis. Grants can fund innovative resources, field trips, programs, and more. The next time one of your students in grades K through 5 celebrates their birthday, keep an eye out for our birthday book program. Under this program, our foundation provides all Peabody Elementary students with a brand new book on their birthday, handpicked by them, that they can keep forever. Our goal for the birthday book program is to foster a love for reading and to promote family time. Studies show that reading out loud to students make them more prolific readers and enhances their reading skills. The Guest Reader program demonstrates to students the pleasures of reading and presents them with positive role models from the community. The Guest Reader program runs from January to early May and brings business leaders, city officials, and local citizens into your classroom, where they spend 20 to 40 minutes reading to your students. If you would like to have a guest reader visit your classroom, please fill out the form on our website. In recent years, the PEF has introduced new and relevant programs to promote mental wellness among students. The Mental Wellness Initiative was launched in 2022 to raise awareness and provide students with the tools they need to address mental health challenges, which were brought to the forefront during COVID. Under this initiative, we've equipped teachers with reading materials, motivational speakers, and emotion-based programs to help teach students about the importance of emotional, psychological, and social well-being. This program will be continuously evolving over time, so make sure to check out our website for newly added programs. In life, our students are often faced with complex challenges about what their future holds. As students progress in high school, they are about to embark on their quest for a career. Responding to this need, every spring, the PEF sponsors a career day. We bring local businesses to the high school so that the students can ask questions and understand firsthand what is involved in a particular career. Last year, over 65 local businesses were represented and helped our students explore the various trades and career paths. Career Day helps create ties between the student body and the community at large. Make sure to mention Career Day to your Peabody High students throughout the year to get them excited come springtime. Do you know an educator or other person in the community who has made a lasting impact on education? make sure to nominate them for our annual George Peabody Legacy Award. This award was created to recognize and honor the educators and philanthropists from within our community who work hard to provide a lifetime of contributions to our education system, just like all of you. Applications are submitted throughout the year, and recipients are selected by our Legacy Award Committee. Recipients are honored at our annual award ceremony in the fall, which takes place at the Higgins Middle School. If you would like to nominate a fellow teacher for this award, please visit our website. Our dear friend and former superintendent, Kara Murtagh, was a longtime member of our organization. After her passing, we established a scholarship in her memory to honor her dedication and commitment towards the school children of Peabody. If you know a deserving Peabody High senior who is interested in pursuing a career in the field of education, please encourage them to apply for this scholarship. Applications are accepted January through May and can be submitted by visiting our website. All these programs were created not only for our students, but for you, our teachers, to ensure you have all the resources you need to help our next generation develop into successful leaders. If any of these programs interest you, please make sure to visit our website for more information. We also appreciate any donations that you can make, as 100% of all donations go directly towards supporting our Peabody schools. Thanks for your time, and have a successful school year.
Now that's a lot better than me telling you about it, right? I want to thank Christine Casciato for her work on that, and we update it every year to keep pace with the programs that we're doing. But as you can see, we're doing a lot. We're doing the most that we can with the funds that we raise, and we want to make Peabody the best that it can be. So with that, I'd like to recognize tonight our elected officials who have made the time to come here, some flying in from the State House during what has been a very busy season of voting. We have with us tonight State Rep Tom Walsh, State Rep Sally Karen, State Senator Joan Lovely. They're all frequent flyers at the Legacy Awards for sure. From a local perspective, we're honored to have with us this evening Mayor Ted Betancourt, Ward 2 Councilor Pete McGinn, Ward 3 Councilor Stephanie Peach, Ward 4 Councilor Julie Daigle, School Committee member and candidate for Councilor at Large Jared Hockman, my good friend John Swanson, and this representing the school committee. A group of people that are oddly not represented often are our library trustees, and back in the corner, I'm very proud of my daughter, Katrina Vasallo. And last but not least, because he's an honoree tonight, I figured I'd put him last, my good friend, Councilor at Large Tom Gould. So as they say, without further ado, we'd like to get to the ceremony for the award of the George Peabody Legacy. And we are going to start this evening with Sheila D'Ambrosio. Sheila, you can relax at that seat for a minute while we're going to play a video for you. But for those that don't know Sheila, was a teacher at the Brown School. She found her calling after transferring through many different grades. That's one thing that we don't have in common, Sheila. I've been reading to the first grade for the last 25 years. I don't get promoted ever. But her classroom, when I read the nomination, was like visiting the magic school bus. She always found the way to bring the classroom to life with animals, plants, interesting activities. It was a constant and perpetual motion. They used to call it the magic world of Mrs. D's class. And I'm sure those who didn't get a chance to experience her class wish they had. Outside of the school environment, she's also been a tireless environmental advocate with work at the farm and work around the city to make sure that we stay green. She's just a driving force for sustainability of Peabody, a remarkable educator and a remarkable person. Sheila, we'd like you to see what other people say about you.
My name is Debbie Eskenazi. Sheila and I have known each other for a while. We're on the Historical Commission together as well as the Historical Society. We belong to different organizations together. Just being around Peabody, we have been involved in a lot of different things in education as well as city involvement. The best quality is her giving way. She just has compassion for everything she does. She invited me to come on the George Peabody third grade essay contest, and watching her passion of working with the kids and reading the essays, and then her excitement when the winners come through. It's more her passion, her love for what she does, and just being Sheila as the person who she is all around and on an everyday basis. On Wednesdays, we volunteer together for the Historical Society. We have a little group of volunteers, and there's just different things that we're doing, whether it's a project for the archives. We had to do a photo shoot of just something we were involved with the chamber, actually, and we were taking different pictures of Sheila, and of course, Sheila, being the personality that she is, came to the camera and just really showed her personality in the pictures, and some of them were serious and some of them were funny, but it was just a great day being together. The George Peabody third grade essay contest, that's probably the best example of what she has brought forth in the program, working with the teachers, the different schools, working with the children as far as when they actually win and making them feel good when they come in to read their essays. She never lost that quality of what it takes to be a great teacher. The impact that I see is the excitement that she brings into every program and everything she does. Just Sheila being Sheila. When I'm with Sheila, she just brightens up everything around her. Even when it's a gloomy day, Sheila just brings happiness to whatever she does, wherever we're together and doing things together.
My name is Linda Robbins, and I've known Sheila for many years, most recently primarily through the Green Peabody group, which is the Green Environmental Group in Peabody. Sheila was always willing to help on any activity and very positive about sustainable issues for making our city a better place. Sheila and I worked many times on an activity we had prior to COVID called Green Fest. It was held often at the Brown School, and of course that's where Sheila worked. We would look at an empty room and say, how can we make this happen? And she said, we can do it. She has always had a positive outlook towards accomplishing different activities and initiatives, and remain very focused on how we can make Peabody a greener place. Sheila has always tried to include her students, to educate them, and thus involving the parents to get them on board. For example, the Bay State Textile Program. She was very instrumental in initiating that program, which is now citywide, and spearheaded that effort. Seeing the looks of her students when she's been addressing them, especially at the different outside of school activities, and watching them look at her and listen to her and absorb all that she was saying.
My name is Elaine Metropolis, and I know Sheila I first met her when we went to college. We went to Salem State College and graduated the same year. She was teaching at the Brown School, and I came along as the new principal, and that's how I met her. Good teachers always bring the children's learning further. They bring it to a place where they're not just teaching the learning, but then they have the children apply it into another area. Sheila did that very well. She taught third grade, but she also did several other things at the school, and that's another sign of a good teacher. They don't just teach and then stay inside their classroom. They venture out, they do other things. And a couple of things that Sheila did was she started the Brown School Garden Club, and that was to help children after school learn how to garden, learning how to plant seeds, how to grow them, water them, feed them. And she was out there with them. She also extended that further because in the summer, when there was no school, she set it up so that each child's family would come to the Brown School. They each had a week or 2 weeks to tend the garden. So the families would sign up for the number of a week or two that they wanted, and they would be responsible for watering, weeding, those kinds of things, and also for picking the vegetables that were there. So it became a fun experience, not just for the kids, but for the families as well. That was a very positive thing that I thought Sheila did. In addition, Sheila also did the George Peabody House field trips for third grade students. There was a program in place, and they needed someone to take over. And so they contacted Sheila and said, could you possibly help us with this program? And they would learn about the history, they would tour the house, they would get to ask questions, hear answers. And so that became another extension of the learning. Again, another great attribute of Sheila, extending the learning, applying it, and all while letting the kids have fun. One of the things I like about the George Peabody Award is that it's often the teachers who are not just good teachers. They bring the education into the community. They volunteer in the community. They are people in Peabody who are the workers, who will be ready on a moment's notice. And again, that was Sheila. She was always ready to work. She's a worker bee. Being such a powerful member of the community of Peabody was one of her best features. Her colleagues all feel the same way. Learning can be fun, and having collegial relationships is one of the best parts of the workplace. And Sheila was always ready to share a good laugh or share a funny story.
Sheila's legacy will carry on through the younger teachers that came up behind her. The enthusiasm she has for what she did as a teacher brings forth into everything she does now in her life.
Sheila's legacy will be her involvement with the students in promoting them to be more aware of their environment and good citizens of the city.
Sheila, thank you for being such a wonderful teacher, such a hard worker, for involving families in your students' lives, for being a good friend, and for being a good citizen and being a role model for students. So thank you for being a great friend, and I love you.
Sheila, you are so well deserved of this award. It is everything that you bring forth in your life, everything you bring forth to your family and to your friends. Congratulations, Sheila. I am so beyond proud of you.
Sheila, you are so well deserving of this award. I'm very happy that you are joining the ranks of George Peabody Legacy Award winners. Congratulations, Sheila, on this award. You are well deserving.
Congratulations, Sheila, on this wonderful award. I am so very proud of you, and I hope that you are able to accept this award and with all the dignity and respect that it deserves. You have done a wonderful job. You have left a great legacy in your students. Having been a previous winner of the George Peabody Award, I know what this means, and I know how touching it is to feel that people care about you and that people appreciate you. So Sheila, you are appreciated. A job well done. Congratulations.
Now, Sheila, you can come up. And it gives me great pleasure to provide for you the George Peabody Legacy Award, Class of 2025. And we have some special people that want to come up. Senator Lovely, Rep. Walsh, Rep. Sally Cairns. They're going to, we have citations for all of the recipients. We're going to read them once, so you don't have to listen to multiple citations that say the same thing.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. What a wonderful evening to honor these honorees. And Sheila, we have brought citations. I'm going to read this once, but for all 6 recipients. And I'm going to get names up here. Don't want to miss that part. Well, I had it. No, I don't. So this is a citation from the Massachusetts Senate, Commonwealth of Mass, State Senate. Official citation: be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Sheila D'Ambrosio and all of the awardees this evening in recognition of receiving a 2025 George Peabody Legacy Award for fostering a love of your students and being a sustainability advocate. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to by our clerk. It is signed by our President, Karen Spilka, and offered by me, your State Senator Joan Lovely. Congratulations. Representative.
Are you nervous about this? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for including us. It is really, it's an honor for us to be able to celebrate the accomplishments and the contributions that each of these recipients has made to all the students in the Peabody Public School System. So Sally and I also have a citation from the House of Representatives, and I'd like to read that, Sheila. And this really is for all the recipients and Barbara's family to take forward. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Sheila D'Ambrosio and all the recipients this evening in recognition of receiving the 2025 George Peabody Legacy Award for your outstanding commitment and dedication to Peabody Public School community. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And this is given on this 15th day of October and signed by Speaker Ron Mariano, my good colleague Sally Cairns, and myself. So congratulations, Sheila, to you and to all the recipients for everything you've done for our children at Peabody. Thank you.
Well, Sheila, you get the hardware as well, but it's your turn.
This is harder. Good evening, everybody. I am humbled and honored to be recognized for this award and to be included in such an inspiring group of people who have dedicated their lives to the betterment of the children of Peabody. Growing up on Norfolk Avenue, it was a brief walk to the South Memorial School, then off to Fenwick for high school, and then Salem State. To this day, I have friends from each of those eras, many of whom are here tonight. From that start, so very many years ago, I remain in the city I love so much. First, a thank you to my parents, Tom and Eileen White, for their love and encouragement. My mother often mentioned how she always wanted to be a teacher, but did not have the finances to attend college. So she encouraged me. Second, thanks to my husband, Rich, my kids, Allison and Kevin, for their patience through the years of lesson planning Sundays, nights correcting papers, and progress or report card deadlines. Upon graduating from college, I taught 3 years at 2 different parochial schools and closed them both down. After being at home with my children and taking care of my friends' children until they went to school, it was my turn to venture back to the classroom. I got my feet wet as a building sub at the Burke School, then off to grade 1 at the Carroll, and after a couple of years, grade 4 at the original Brown School. Now I was a colleague with some of the teachers my children had, and after a fashion, my second grade teacher, Marguerite Daly, became a member of the faculty too. When the Osborne-Janulis years began, I went back to grade 2 and fortunately remained there for the duration. The building may have been old, but it was special to all of us. I truly feel the kids knew how much we loved them and how much the faculty genuinely cared for each other. The students particularly loved it when we celebrated Ernie's 50th birthday by hanging a homemade banner out the second floor window so that everyone coming up and down Lynn Street could celebrate his birthday. I was fortunate to be able to work every day, looking forward to what the day would hold. My plan book was chock full of what I anticipated doing, making sure it was aligned with the standards. But often there was something more pressing with my kids that postponed those special endeavors. Sometimes it was a pet that had died, a grandparent, or a parent who was sick, and I don't feel good, Mrs. D, with the evidence on the floor. Then there were also the loose teeth. They were immediately sent next door to Mrs. Anapolsky because I did not handle loose teeth. At the original Brown School, I acquired a skeleton which stood outside my classroom door until we moved to the new building. Mr. Bones was an accessory used to enrich our studies in science. Well, that led to a long-term residency in the hall, but rather than leave him as is, I decided he should be dressed. After all, I often dressed thematically for a certain book, topic, or holiday. Why not him? Thus, the kids and I transformed him often. A turkey in November, an elf during December. Don't forget the scarf, hats, pants, and boots during the winter. In the spring, he wore a pink one-piece sleeper and had bunny ears. And he always concluded the school year with his bathing trunks, flippers, sunglasses, and a towel. The bulldog may be the mascot of the Brown School now, but that skeleton was the centerpiece of 200 Lynn Street. I always had animals in my classroom as well. Guinea pigs, worms, mealworms, ant farms, an extremely vocal cockatiel named Mary Kay, who was a gift from a student. Mary just loved to sing, but apparently her tunes made it difficult for Lorraine Nolan's kindergartners to focus. My 4th graders were fine, though. Mary did relocate to our home. We hatched chicks, and then they were adopted by Brooksby, and we did the whole butterfly thing. But our most unique pet was probably the hissing cockroach that took some getting used to by me, but my students and my para, Diane, were quite comfortable. And in the midst of this ever-evolving menagerie, I did all that academic stuff too. You know, math, social studies, reading, creative writing, cursive, and especially the science. Every few years, there was a new curriculum to adopt with fresh ideas that were often old ideas that were being recycled. That pendulum swung so many times, but like all my colleagues, I adapted. Upon retirement, I subbed, became coordinator of the grade 3 program at the George Peabody House, took care of my grandchildren, Cadell, Sydney, and Jackson. See, Jackson, you got a name. On Grammy Wednesdays until the youngest went to kindergarten. COVID put the brakes on subbing, so I decided to be a guest reader. I started with my grade 2 colleague, Joanne, and now read to a grade 2 class and a grade 1 group, in which the teacher is a former student. I love my days at the original and New Brown. My colleagues were and are the best. I love seeing them. My visits occasionally allow them to copy papers or even run to the bathroom. I have even become a Dunkin' Donuts delivery girl to some. Whatever success I've had in my career has been thanks to the people who have supported me along the way. And it is the children, my students, who have been my greatest joy and what has motivated me to give them the best I had as an educator and human. To my dear students, I loved being your teacher, and nothing brings a smile to my face more than seeing you all continue to rise as you strive to reach your potential that I've known you've had since the day you walked into my classroom. Thank you.
You know, we run this near Halloween. I think I should get trick-or-treat bags and put all the stuff in. But next up, our next honoree is Dr. Kristen Hutton-Fay. There you are. You weren't going to escape me. When she was nominated, I was reading many requests for her to be nominated, and a common theme was an extraordinary special education teacher. She became the director of Peabody Integrated Preschools in 2000, and then went on for 21 more years serving the needs of our community. She was noted for her profound knowledge of child development, and she was a mentor to many and respected by all who met her. While she's an educator, she's also centered on the needs of children and making sure that she does the best that she can do to provide programs that fit the needs of all of her students. We're fortunate to have her amongst us, and we're fortunate to have her as a Peabody Legacy Award, George Peabody Legacy Award recipient. Dr. Fay.
Hello, my name is Dottie Apostolidis, and I'm going to read you a story today called Once Upon a Preschool with Kristen Hutton-Fay. Our recipient's life's work has been dedicated to laying the foundation for what early childhood education is in our city. It is only fitting that we share this story of Dr. Kristen Hutton-Fay. Her legacy of unwavering commitments is woven into the very fabric of early education in Peabody. Her leadership laid the groundwork for inclusive, nurturing classrooms that value and respect our youngest learners and their families. We dedicate this storybook to her. And by the way, as a sneak peek, there is a hero at the end of the story. Chapter 1. Kristen's career began as a child development specialist working at early intervention programs. It was then she realized the profound effect her skills and knowledge had on the growth and development of these little ones. She went on to work for the Head Start program, gaining more knowledge and more experience in working with many ages of children. She moved on to becoming a special education teacher at the Peabody Integrated Preschool for 8 years. She gained the respect of teachers and administrators alike. Her impact was undeniable and was shortly appointed the position of the director of the integrated preschool, where she remained for 21 years. Chapter 2. Her job at the preschool encumbered an abundance of responsibilities and jobs within that title, but she maintained her professionalism and passion, dedicated to help children and their families realize that all children must be given a quality education that they so deserve. She devoted her time to the full development of every child in the program. How does somebody balance all that? She would often tell us that preschool is the family's first introduction to public school. She knew that importance should be placed on the foundational years of childhood. She not only knew it, but she lived by it. There's a saying that makes a lot of sense. A child is like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression. Kristen has made an impression on everyone lucky enough to benefit from her teaching, her wisdom. And Chapter 3. The main character of this story is an adjunct professor for 6 colleges, and she teaches special education courses and many other courses in between. Many of her students span from associate degrees to advanced studies, all wanting to fall in her path. Did she retire? Not really. She is an advocate for children with intellectual impairments and works with families in surrounding school districts and more. In closing, Kristen is very unassuming, even with all the amazing work she has done. From the words of Mr. Rogers, anyone who does anything to help a child is a hero. We just suppose that Kristen suits that title.
So, Kristen, we are giving you a gold star.
And we're giving you an A+.
And we're giving you 2 thumbs up and a pat on the back for a job well done.
Congratulations, Kristen!
Wow, that was awesome. It was even more awesome the second time I saw it. So, Kristen, come on up. It's my great honor, on behalf of the Peabody Ed Foundation, the City of Peabody, to award you the George Peabody Legacy Award.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very hard to stand next to Miss Dottie and the rest of the crew, but I would not be here tonight without these ladies. I'd like to thank everyone for the recognition, but as I mentioned, I really need to share this with my family, my colleagues, the children, and the families that I met along this journey. So I come from a long line of educators who taught me the value of inclusion, diversity, and comprehensive education and compassion for students. My maternal grandmother was an elementary school special ed teacher back in the 60s. And we would often talk while I was in college about just the way that she taught children versus the way we were learning to teach children. She also established the special needs camp for children in Lynn Woods. Later, my dad, who was a biology high school teacher, became that director of the summer program, and I grew up going there every summer. It was there that I watched college students who were going to be educators work compassionately and with the children that attended camp. And it was there that I understood that that was going to be my role, because I really developed a love and a compassion for these children. I was fortunate to spend most of my career at the Peabody Public Schools, as was mentioned, first as a preschool teacher and then as the director of the program. The preschool was like home to me, my colleagues like family. We shared a strong vision of supporting families and children in an inclusive setting. Each of us truly understood the value of including all children together learning. And we used a lot of silly, play-based learning experiences that supported the children's language, their social emotional development, and their readiness skills. To my family, my 3 sons who attended the preschool program, they taught me firsthand the value of all children working and learning together. And to my mom, who made sure that those boys were there for their morning or afternoon session. In her later years, she also became an educator herself. To my husband, who's also an educator, I thank him greatly for pushing me to continue my degrees. We did it together while raising 3 children. But to the families of the children that I worked with, I truly appreciate you inviting me into your homes and trusting me and my staff to take care of your children. To the children, I will always remember watching you grow and develop. And today I didn't expect, but there's a young woman sitting in the audience, Amanda LePage, who was a little feisty little girl when I met her and her sister Macy, who today is a feisty young woman. And I told her that feisty young woman is beautiful. She's strong and beautiful. You have a lot of power in your hands. And it's because of the staff here that work so diligently with Amanda and her family. I was going to close this before I saw Amanda with another quick story. I also remember going into a home years ago with meeting a mom and dad and a very young child. And mom was nervous and dad was nervous that their child was going to come to school. Well, we got to know this little girl, and like Amanda, she was strong and feisty and challenged us and did beautifully. About 15 years later, I walked into a class that I was teaching at North Shore Community College, and in the front row, this little girl was a young woman who was going to become a teacher. And that to me was such a full circle. She made me smile as a preschool child, and she made me really smile as carrying on the work that she wanted to do to become an educator. So I cherished the time that I was here in Peabody. I strongly believe in the work that the integrated preschool staff still does, and want to acknowledge them, because without these ladies, they touched so many hearts and so many children and did such beautiful work. And we were such a team, even the simplest things together that we did. So thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
Isn't it amazing the talent we have here in Peabody and the unbelievable contribution that they make to our community? Our next honoree is a good friend. Actually, her name came up towards the end of the nominating period, and everybody on the committee sparked with their eyes and said, yes. Molly Foster is a true hero in our schools. Now, most people think that legacies are looking backwards, but Molly continues to build her legacies every day of the year with all the kids that she interacts with. For 2 decades, she's been a dedicated teacher, a trainer, a coach. As a matter of fact, my first meeting with her was because my son had gotten hurt at school and she was a trainer in the athletic program. And once I met her, I kind of realized why he was getting hurt every week. She is the creator and organizer of the 5th grade Olympiad. She's never seeking recognition for anything that she does. She always puts the children first. She's always thinking of others first. She's an extraordinary educator, and more important, she's an extraordinary human being. But let's see what other people have to say about my friend Molly.
Hello, my name is Tom Gould, and I am a longtime friend of Molly Foster's. I've known Molly through the community. I've known her family. Thrilled to be here as a part to give a testimonial on Molly's behalf. Molly's a leader, whether it be leadership in school, outside community, the gym she attends, the number of students that search her out on a daily basis for advice. Leadership is number one with Molly, and compassion and empathy. That's why she's been chosen as a recipient of the George Peabody Award. Every day, there's another student that searches Molly for advice and help. Some very critical, some might not be as drastic, but she is just a leader of people, leader of students and community leader. Kids that wouldn't have gone to college go to college because Molly has vested her energy and passion in that student. I keep giving accolades, but there's not too many more words to describe Molly Foster. She lives in the neighborhood where I own my business, Treadwell's Ice Cream. She had some problems that we were trying to take care of and searched me out, and we were able to fix it, but that's because of Molly. Have you met Molly? No. If you met Molly, you'd love Molly. And I'm very honored to be here on Molly Foster's behalf.
My name is Josh Vidala. I'm the superintendent of schools in Peabody, and I've known Molly Foster for the past 6 years, as she's an educator in Peabody and a huge member of our community. Larger than life, and she's just a wonderful person. So Molly stands out among other teachers and other contributors in our community just because she's so selfless. She's really an incredible person. She gives so much and always there to help people out, always there to make sure that anybody else who needs a hand, she's willing to do that. And I think something else that sets Molly apart from others is just her infectious positivity. She's an incredibly positive person. If you're around her, you just feel like you're being lifted up. She's just got this great way about her, always positive, always on the go, always working, and she really makes a difference because of that. There's so many memories and stories about Molly. I was visiting the high school one day and, popping in and out of classrooms, and I went into the gym. Of course, Molly had to rush over and be all excited about how the students are doing and tell me about, a couple different kids and the wonderful things that they're doing, and always just being so positive. And she says, "Hey, do you have a couple minutes? Would you like to play badminton with a couple of the kids?" So I said, "Sure." And so Molly and I played badminton with 2 students, and I was struck by immediately how competitive the game was. The kids were very competitive. She was very competitive, and I found myself, just diving into it and really getting in. And by the end of the match, I had found myself, I had improved my skills, and that's the teacher in Molly, just making everyone around her better. Anytime she just wants to draw you in and she wants to bring you to be part of what's going on and to build those connections with students and with the adults around her. And so that's just something that sticks out to me. Molly gives back all the time. One of the big things that Molly does every year, she leads the mayor's 5th grade Olympiad. And so Molly's a high school teacher, yet once a year in June, we bring all the 5th grade students to the high school, and she runs a super field day called the 5th grade Olympiad. And it's been a passion of hers for a long time, and it's really a seminal event for all of our 5th grade students. It's the first time that we bring them all together from our 8 elementary schools all in one place. It's their opportunity to meet one another, to engage, to do some fun activities, and she leads the whole day and really organizes it and coordinates all the students that are helping, and it's really a wonderful time, and it's the first time they're all together, and it really sets the stage for the type of community we want to build as the 5th graders move into the 6th grade at Higgins, where they'll all go from their small 8 elementary schools to the one big middle school. And she really sets the tone for that, and that's really something that I've really been impressed with over the past 6 years. I can't tell you how many students say that that's their favorite elementary memory, and it's in large part because of Molly Foster. Molly has an incredible impact. One thing that I think is really transformational is 6 years ago at the high school, we started an advisory program where every teacher takes a small group of students for the 4 years, and they meet with them a couple times a week. So if your child is lucky enough to hit the lottery and have Miss Foster as their advisor, it's really transformational. She takes the students as freshmen and has them for all 4 years, and she's really taken a special interest in all of those students, and it has a lifelong impact. Every student that she has feels like Molly knows them, they feel valued, and it's really an opportunity for them to develop a relationship with an adult in the building that goes beyond just the walls of the building. Students take that, they see her as a role model, and they bring that with them for life.
My name is Maria Crusoe, and Molly and I have been teaching together for about 25 years. Molly stands out in so many ways. As educators, it's always a struggle to try to reach all of our students. We have classes that exceed 25, sometimes 30, depending on where we're at, and trying to kind of get to all those students, to assess all those students. They have different life experiences, they have different levels of learning, they have different styles of learning, and Molly gets to all of them. Like she really does. If she needs to create 5 different assessments, she'll create 5 different assessments to make sure she can reach each and every student. It's the level of trust that students have with Molly. The education is complicated. There's so much going on, and all these kids have so many different things going on in their lives. And they go to her, they trust her, and they'll go to her with their problems, and she helps them. And if that means she gives up her lunch to have lunch with these students, that's what she does. It's really that simple. During this whole time when I did find out that I was asked to do this, that one particular day, and it was, someone kept saying above and beyond. And we were talking about different things, not just Molly. And it came up 3 different times. And the words above and beyond, above and beyond. And I thought about it, and I was like, that's Molly. It's above her circumstances and beyond expectations. She's had a huge impact. And whether it's an adult, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a student, she's there and she helps. So Molly is from Sandy Lake in Pennsylvania. We always joke with her that she grew up on a farm, and so I walked into the gym. She had the song Super Freak on by Rick James. And I walked in and she's like, "This song is for Mrs. Caruso." And I was like, "Do you know what this song is about?" And unfortunately, because of the farm, no idea, so we had to explain it to her. That was a difficult moment in time.
If I could describe Molly Foster in 3 words, they would be selfless, positive, and energetic.
Love of student.
3 words. Inspire, creativity, and she's just a wonderful human being. She is a giving human being. That's 4 words, but she deserves at least 4.
Molly, I love you, and thank you for everything you do for me and the community. Appreciate it. Congratulations, Molly Foster. Very proud of you.
I'd just like to say, Molly, thank you so much for all the work that you do. I feel so blessed that I know you. I feel so blessed that you're in our lives, and that you're doing such a great job with our students. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you do. Congratulations, Molly. This is well deserved. I know that you're the type of person that did not expect it, but I think that's why you're such a deserving candidate, and your name belongs on that wall forever to be the George Peabody Legacy Award winner at the Higgins. And every time you or your family members go into the Higgins, they'll be able to see that. And I know for a fact that any of your students that go back to the Higgins and see your name up there are going to have a lot of pride. And I just want to congratulate you. Well deserved.
I love her. I would do anything for her. There are days when I look to her and she's so important to me, and she's made such an impact in my life and in everyone else's life. And all I can say is I love you, Molly. Mom, I would like to congratulate you on receiving the Peabody Legacy Award. You are among great people who have done great things, and I'm so proud of you.
Did I do better than everyone else? Please tell me.
So those are all filmed in Greyhawk in the studio, and I get the good fortune of seeing all of those well before they're published here. So, Molly, it's a great honor to award you the George Peabody Legacy Award on behalf of the Peabody Ed Foundation in the city of Peabody. Thank you for all you do.
Oh my. Good evening, everyone. This is wonderful. I'm truly, truly humbled to be here, to be receiving one of the George Peabody Legacy Awards. And it's even more special, not that I don't love everyone, but that I'm receiving it with my friend Tom Gould is just, it's icing on the cake. Oh, I'm sorry, cherry on the ice cream. Thank you, Tom. Your words were wonderful. It's really a wonderful feeling to be appreciated and recognized for something that I love to do. It's kind of funny, as Dave was saying, I never meant to be an educator. I was always an athletic trainer, so this is a second profession for me, and one that I have to say, I think I found my niche, because I really do love it. Now, I have to be honest, Dave called me this summer to notify me that I was selected for this award. And I had a total moment of panic. I've only ever been professionally recognized one other time, and it was about 15 years ago. And I received the Massachusetts and Women's Sports Award. And I was waiting for my turn to receive my award. I'm sitting in the audience, not knowing that I had to give a speech. And the woman before me got up there, and she spoke perfectly. She was eloquent, she was well educated. And then all of a sudden she started talking about how she's taught hundreds of blind children to swim. And I looked at my husband and I said, how do I follow this act? I don't even, so again, as Dave has given me the good news that I'm a recipient of this award, all I can think of is what have I done to receive this award? So I thought, and I realized, I've never taught a blind student to swim. But every day, I strive to keep the core values of George Peabody alive as I hope to keep all of my students afloat. So as I look around the room, I realize how lucky I am to be surrounded by so many like-minded people. Everyone that's here is here for our schools and our community. And just like George Peabody, it's important for us to all remember the importance of personal growth, healthy mindset, and educational opportunities. So that being said, I want to thank the Peabody Educational Foundation for their generosity, their open-mindedness, and their willingness to do all that you do for our school system. So thank you. Personally, I've been afforded grants from your foundation that have funded a certified yoga instructor with Mrs. Caruso, cross-country skiing lessons at Brooksby Farm, equine field trips, and ice time for our Peabody families to use our Peabody ice rink. Again, thank you, Peabody Educational Foundation, for affording me the opportunities to expose my students to wellness activities that they may never, ever have had the opportunity to do. George Peabody stated that he always remembered those people who were kind to him or who were inspired by his generosity. So I, too, am appreciative of those people that have afforded me the opportunity to become an educator. So first off, I want to thank Phil Sheridan for hiring me and also being a fabulous mentor to me. Your patience and empathy will always be appreciated. I'm also thankful for the guidance of Dan Hayes and Ed Foey and the fabulous staff at the Thomas Carroll School. That was fun. And to my coworkers, Maria Caruso, I probably don't even have to say anything else, Patty Gaffney and Lauren Tanzi, thank you for making every day the best day. I work with my 3 best friends. It doesn't get any better than that. You all make me be better. But maybe the strongest influence of my teaching career has come from my good friend and the best lady boss, Miss Kara Murtagh. Watching Kara always motivated me to want to make her proud and be my best, to do the best for each of my students every day, just like Kara. Lastly, George Peabody stressed the importance of never forgetting where you came from, and I'm a firm believer that the people in my life have made me the person that I am today. I want to thank my mom, Susan, from coming from Sandy Lake, Pennsylvania, for teaching me and really instilling me, I think, a fabulous work ethic. My parents were very hard workers. To my husband, Jack, I always love you for being my biggest cheerleader and motivator. And to my son, Reed, I strive every day to have the grit and the resilience that you do. I'm so lucky to have the 2 men in my life as my biggest advocates. To my daughter, Mackenzie, I am grateful that you taught me that I can do hard things. Thank you again to the Peabody Educational Foundation for your recognition. I promise to always value education, to be generous and inspirational, and to never forget where I came from. I promise to be just like George. Thank you. Thank you. I know. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kath, we okay back there? Okay. I'd like to take a brief moment and ask that all former recipients of the George Peabody Legacy Award please stand up. Come on, you're in the room, I know you. Come on. Thank you all for coming and cheering on the newest recipients. Now, are we good? This next person really doesn't need any introduction. I refer to him as my brother. We've known each other since our kids were in Little League. We coached together. We worked on the league together. And the one thing I always admired about Tom Gould was that he never poo-pooed any idea, regardless of how crazy it was, including running $10,000 raffles at Brooksby Farm to build a new baseball field. Because I convinced him, I said, if we could raise half the money, I'm sure I can convince the city to give us the other half. Well, we never quite got there. They ended up putting a school where we were going to put a baseball field. But the funds we raised together ended up helping a lot of kids all along the way and improving a program all along the way. I had the honor of serving with Tom on the city council. I had the honor of running with him for those seats. He always the top vote getter, I'll say that. Of course, when you represent ice cream and I represent consulting, give me a break. There's nobody in this room who hasn't been impacted by this man's generosity. Just think of the last time you had a delicious vanilla ice cream sundae at a school, or you served it to kids, you'll know it came from Tom, and that he donated it most times. And he did it quietly and quite nicely, never looking for anybody to cheer him on. Tom is not an educator, but he is an educator, because he's taught us all what it means to be a good citizen, to be a kind and caring father, a kind and caring public servant, and somebody who believes that no matter what your needs are, no matter how challenged you may be, there's a place for you at the table. And so it's my honor to welcome Tom Gould, and let's see what people say about him.
I'm Ted Betancourt, mayor of the city of Peabody, and I've known Tom Gould, I feel like, all my life as a family friend. He was a great basketball referee, and over the last 15 years or so, we've served together as city elected officials. I just always feel that Tom just has a giant heart, and everything works off of that. He cares deeply for the city, cares deeply for people. I just feel like Tom has always been there. His fingerprints are all over this city, all the positive things that have happened in our community, festivals, events, parties. Tom's just always been there. And for many years now, Tom has run the Challenger basketball program, a weekly program for those students that have challenges to come and play basketball and be a part of a team and enjoy one another's company. And Tom just has a way to connect, and seeing him in action, running that program, seeing smiles on kids' faces and families' faces is very meaningful. And that's always stuck with me, and something that I just think is amazing.
So my name is Courtney Hurley, and Tom is my father. I would have to say that he is very passionate about community and giving back. He's always one to give. When he started the Challenger Sports many years ago, that was his way of giving back to children with physical and mental disabilities. He's just continued since then. When I think of my dad, I think of all of the different times when he's influenced different people. When he does the trolley rides and the downtown holiday stroll, the kids love that. It's just every little detail, I think, makes an impact on different people for different reasons.
My name is Dave Gravel, and I've known Tom Gould for many years. We were both heavily involved in the Peabody Little League, and that's where I really got a chance to know and understand who Tom Gould really is. He certainly has taught us all a great lesson in life about how to care for and understand people regardless of their circumstance. Tom is a philanthropist in a way that is kind of unique but very important. He owns a business, Treadwell's Ice Cream. There isn't a day that goes by where probably a school or an organization isn't impacted by that. He basically donates a lot of his goods and his services to bring a little joy in a day to anybody that gets a chance to enjoy his ice cream. He founded the Challenger League in Peabody, but he doesn't do it just himself. He engages the community to do it with him. His friendliness and his ability to dig in with everybody makes you feel like you want to do more. As a city councilor, he's probably one of the best there is, because he's learned to listen, he's learned to understand, he's highly empathetic to the causes of people. Tom and I worked in the Little League together. One day we got this crazy idea. I said, we should build a baseball field that would be sort of nationally renowned. And Tom says, oh, that's a great idea. So we embarked on this fundraising effort. During the whole process, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Oh, we need decorations. It was a lot of work. Great success. We did it for several years. Unfortunately, we never built that world-class baseball field, but the money that we raised helped to sustain the Little League for many years beyond when we were involved.
My name is Maria Champany, and I am a friend of Tom Gould's. The quality that I think makes him stand out the most is his heart, and he just wants to give. First time I ever met Tom, I walked up to him and I said, "Mr. Gould, I need to talk to you about something." And he said, "Absolutely, I'm happy to help you, call me." And he gave me his card. He says, I'll be right back. I just have to do something. And I didn't realize he was wearing a black and white striped shirt because he was refereeing the basketball game that I just walked up to him on. We've been friends ever since. The Healing Garden at Brooksby Farm is a testament to him and his dedication to Kara and as well as everyone in the community. It's kind of one of those legacies that will live on in the city of Peabody. He does alternative sports for children with special needs. He set up this kind of almost a special own community of having even the volunteers as well as the kids and the families feel like they're all one. And honestly, I think a lot of what people know is almost probably by accident because he's so humble that he won't tell you what he does.
He's a compassionate person who always leads with his heart and always wants the best for people and wants the best for the city. Tom has an outstanding legacy in the city, and it's well deserved. His legacy is that he is always there to help people through volunteering, lending a helping hand. You can always count on Tom Gould to be there.
I would have to say that his legacy will be that people think that he is, a giver.
Thank you, Tom Gould, for all that you've done. I'll never forget. You're my best friend.
Besides Treadwell's ice cream, his legacy is the positive change he's made in children, young adults, and families. Congratulations, my friend, on the George Peabody Legacy Award.
Congratulations, Tom, on this well-deserved award. You deserve it and so much more. Congratulations, my friend.
Congratulations, Tom, and you certainly are one of the most deserving people I know to receive this award.
I would have to say, I'll do this without crying, but I would have to say that he is he's so proud of all of us. I think we would all just like him to know how proud of him we are. Dad, from all of us, we are just so happy for you and congratulations, and we love you very much.
Tom Gould, it was worth the wait to see it. On behalf of the Peabody Education Foundation and the City of Peabody, I want to congratulate you for earning the George Peabody Legacy Award. Your name goes proudly on that wall.
Can we run that again? Can't get enough of seeing myself. I don't know what Sharon saw in me, honestly, with his bald head and big fat face. Molly Foster, where are you, girl? Hi, Moll. Nice job, love you. But that's not just about Molly and I. It's about everyone tonight that received a Legacy Award. Congratulations. Courtney, thank you for your words. Very nice. I haven't stopped crying inside, and now I'm crying outside. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the kind words. Congratulations to my fellow recipients. It is a great honor to be in the class of 2025. I am truly grateful for the recognition. When I think of those that are going in, it gives me goosebumps. Sheila D'Ambrosio, Barbara Kelly posthumously, Dr. Fay, Linda Zakis, and of course, Molly Foster. What a lineup. I'd like to offer a special thank you to my colleagues on the board of Peabody Education Foundation. Thank you for all you do to ensure the children of Peabody get a quality education every day. As our dear friend and leader, Kara Murtagh, instilled in us, every student, every day. This is what Peabody Ed Foundation is all about. A special thank you goes out to Mary Bellavance and Kristen Bruno for making this night very special. Thank you, ladies. Mary, where are you? Thank you. Kathy Gravel, thank you. However, none of this would be possible without Dave and Kathy Gravel and the team from Greyhawk. They have underwritten so many projects it's without fanfare. They have full-time employees on staff working on PEF projects. Their financial support is staggering. Thank you, Kathy and Dave, very much. Of course, none of this would be possible personally if I didn't have the support of my family. My wife, Sharon, there you are, who has never stopped me from being involved in helping people. Thank you, Cher. To Courtney and her husband, Greg, along with Michael and his partner, Jason, thank you for always being there and supporting my charitable causes. I'm confident that the torch is being passed to the next generation of givers. To Quinn, Julia, and Ari, Papi is crazy in love with you and always will be. My love affair with physically and mentally challenged people began when I was in my teens and has continued to this day. We estimate that we have trained and activated and worked with 4,000 to 5,000 challenged athletes, play sports free, and play sports free of charge, and incorporate a volunteer challenger basis. In closing, in the words of President John F. Kennedy in 1962 before the United Nations, he said, "On earth, God's work must truly be our own. I challenge you to make it your work." Thank you again.
Thank you, Tom Gould. Thank you for teaching us all how to be better people. Our next recipient was a very special person to the Peabody Education Foundation. She worked tirelessly, many times just keeping me in line. I'd get a call during the week. "Did you forget that you said?" Or I'd get a lean over at a meeting. "We can't do that." She was a remarkable woman. I always knew when the meeting was because 2 weeks before the meeting, I could set my clock by it. In come the meeting minutes, in come the agenda, and in comes the personal email that says, "Is there anything different you would like to do this time?" And she was just a joy. When I first met her, I was just another member trying to do the best I can. And she really encouraged me to do more. She always talked about, if you have a talent, you have to share it. And there's a huge void right now in our foundation because of our loss. Before we roll the reel, I want to thank her family for the courage and the honor to allow us to present this award this evening when the wounds are so tender and so new. But we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, because just as you need the comfort, our foundation needed the comfort too, and you provided that. So without anything further, I'd love you to see this marvelous video that was made for Barbara.
My name is Natalie Mega, and I first met Barbara many, many years ago while I was working at City Hall, and we were just about getting ready to launch the kids voting program. And Barbara had a major role in that program, and it was a program that empowered the students to learn about democracy, civic responsibility, and the importance of having a voice. I believe Barbara's passion for education showed in the many, many, many years that she served on the Ed Foundation. And she was so responsible for a lot of the programs. One of them that I recall is the guest reading program, where Barbara actually brought the community into the classroom.
My name is Dan Basallo, and I'm the treasurer of the Peabody Education Foundation. So I've known Barbara for quite a while with my involvement in the foundation. In terms of her time on the board, she was kind of, the rock, the rule setters, or the rule setter of our board. It wasn't until, now that we have a huge gap to fill without her, it's a lot of work. But my favorite memory about her came this past year. I had to fill in for a different class who lost their guest reader for one reason or another. And I volunteered, and within 15 seconds, I got an email back from her with so much gratitude. It was like, I was like, I volunteered to read. I didn't save your dog from a fire or anything like that. But it was such a passionate and heartfelt thank you that she gave, and she did it in a really, really quick turnaround. It's always important to have somebody read to you who is not your teacher, who is not your parent, and because of Barbara and her efforts, the students at Peabody get that privilege, and I think that's one of her most lasting impacts in terms of her work here. Her crowning achievement has been her work on the guest reader program. We really don't know what we're going to be able to do without her. Her involvement was immense, and it will be missed.
My name is Dave Gravel, and I am the president and co-chair of the Peabody Education Foundation. I've known Barbara Kelly since my first days of involvement in the Education Council, now known as the Education Foundation. Her dedication to the Peabody Public Schools is unsurpassed. She never stood up and looked for the glory. She led what we call the Community Committee. And everything that she did was to integrate the community into the classroom. She headed up, since the beginning, our flagship program known as Guest Reader. The original intent of the program was what we lived, and that was to help the schools be the best that they can be by providing that extra effort in funding or human resources to get their job done. Her impact on the Peabody Public Schools can't be overstated.
So my name is Donna Craven, and I first met Barbara Kelly when I became a member of the Peabody Ed Foundation over 20 years ago. She was amazing from the moment I met her. She was so kind and friendly and welcoming to me, and I soon learned early on that she had a great love and dedication to not only her community, but to the children of Peabody. Barbara was full of life and energy, such a happy and pleasant person to be around, and she absolutely loved her travels with her dear husband. She loved her family greatly, her children. She was so proud of all their accomplishments, and she especially loved her grandchildren. Barbara ran the guest reader program at the Peabody Ed Foundation, which is a program that matches people from the community going into the schools and reading to all the children in all the different grade levels. And she was passionate about this. In my involvement over the Peabody Ed Foundation, I became involved with the program at the high school called Career Day. Barbara early on was happy to help me with that, and we worked together on making sure that this could be the best that it could be. And just, being in her presence and all that she talked about in terms of her involvement, it's just very clear. And anybody that you spoke to knew Barbara and how warm and kind and caring and passionate and dedicated she was to her community. Her legacy will live on. The fact that she is such a wonderful, kind, caring person, that's what people are going to remember about her.
The Peabody Education Foundation and the city she loved are a better place because of Barbara Kelly. She will be remembered for her gratitude, her admiration, and her love. Her legacy will live on forever. I would like to say to my friend, thank you for all that you did showing me the road on the Peabody Ed Foundation. I cherish the time that I had with you. And although you're no longer with us, your legacy will live on forever in all the students that you helped along the way.
I unfortunately can't congratulate Barbara directly today, but I want her family to know she was the best. She worked so hard. She cared so much. She meant so much to all of us. Thank you for allowing us the time that she gave us.
Congratulations, Barbara, and congratulations, Kelly family. We lost a good one this year, but it's nice that she's getting the recognition that she deserves.
Barbara, you are so deserving of this award, and you will be greatly missed. I think in this world that we just need more people like her.
I'd like to ask a member of the Kelly family to please come up and accept the award on Barbara's behalf. Her son, Darren.
Okay. My name is Darren Kelly. I'm here tonight with my dad, Richard, my brother, Brian, his wife, Jill, my wife, Kimberly, our friends, Pam and Joe Shachuk, to accept this award on behalf of my mother, Barbara Kelly. My cousins, Margaret Murphy and Eric Buckley, two former recipients of this award, are here as well tonight. Two of the important lessons I learned from my mom were the value of hard work and the importance of giving back. My mom went to work at the Warren 5-cent Savings Bank as a teller when I started the 2nd grade and my brother was entering the 8th. Since both of our parents were going to be working, that meant that my brother and I needed to pitch in around the house. The old joke in our family was that once you were tall enough to see over the top of the washing machine, well, it was time you did your own laundry. It soon became clear to us at an early age how important hard work was. My mom's hard work at the Warren Bank paid off through the years as she quickly advanced to the title of branch manager and eventually became one of the vice presidents of the bank. She also played a key role when my dad opened his own business. My dad ran the day-to-day operations of the company while my mom maintained the books and the financial aspects. They named the company B&R Metal Products after their initials, and they would not have succeeded as well as they did if my parents were not true partners in running the business together. Through all of her hard work at her career, at my dad's business, and in raising 2 children, she still found the time to give back. She volunteered at the first 10 Peabody International Festivals, along with many bank fundraisers. She also volunteered for the Peabody Chamber of Commerce at several of their cable television auctions. And for years, she ran the annual Daffodil Days fundraiser, which raised money for cancer research. As a future 3-time cancer survivor, her fundraising work for cancer research took on that much more importance to our family. If you knew my mom, you know that there were 3 topics that she would speak passionately about. She loved planning trips and traveling with my dad and their friends. The details and photos from these vacations were a constant topic of conversation. And then there were her grandchildren, Caitlin and Daniel, who she loved immensely. If you wanted to know what either grandchild was up to, my mom would gladly share all of the details and all of the photos. Caitlin is now a senior at Fairfield University, and Daniel is a sophomore at Stonehill College. My mother would have wanted me to add at this point how incredibly proud we are of all of them, of how proud we all are of them, and that if you want to see any pictures, anyone at our table can share them with you. The third topic she talked about all the time was the guest reader program. She ran this program each year, matching readers with teachers in classrooms across the city. She was incredibly proud of this program and enjoyed playing a key role in making this wonderful opportunity happen. My family and I are honored that you have chosen my mother to be one of the recipients of the George Peabody Legacy Award. If I'm being honest, though, I'm quite sure that if my mom had been asked about receiving this award, she would have politely declined, wishing instead to keep the focus on others, including her fantastic fellow honorees here tonight. Her work as a volunteer throughout the years was never about seeking attention or awards, but rather to give back to the community in which she grew up and raised a family. But if there is anyone who deserves this honor, it is my mom for her many, many years of service to the Peabody Education Foundation and the children of Peabody. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank you all so far this evening for your patience. I apologize, we're running a little behind, but we have one more honoree who we can't forget and who's made an indelible impression on the city of Peabody and the children in the city of Peabody. Linda Zakis has a distinguished career for over 30 years in the Peabody Public Schools. I first met Linda when one of my children came home and said, "Do you know they have a gifted and talented program?" I said, "No, I don't know that." And lo and behold, at one point in time, I got a call from Linda, and she told me all about that program. For those of you who know me, you know I was involved intricately in the schools for a long time. Before I was a city council, I was a school committee member. Before a school committee member, I was on all of the advisory boards within the schools. And I really enjoyed it. And Linda made it all that much more important to me. All the people like Linda out there who give of themselves every day and don't expect anything in return. Did you know that Linda established the Higgins chapter of the National Junior Honor Society? I think I told her once I never made it to that society, but I thought it was great. And she must have whispered in somebody's ear at the high school because they gave me a National Honor Society pin one year. I thought, well, I graduated from high school 20 years ago, but I'll take it. What I can say definitively about Linda is that she had a way, and probably still does, of bringing out the best in everybody she encounters, particularly her students. She's just, found that magic to instill a passion in learning for those around her. Certainly deserving of this award. But Linda, enough of what I say. Let's hear what other people say about you.
My name is Barbara St. Pierre. I've known Linda Zakis for over 40 years. She and her husband and my husband all taught together at the Higgins Junior High School at the time. So we became friends in that way. I am not a teacher myself. I'm a social worker. But a lot of those qualities that Linda possesses are really things that what we now call social emotional learning, that Linda really took a great interest in her students. Both my son and my daughter had her as teachers at one time as well. She just is very always has been dedicated to the profession and to the best in her students. So she would always show up, as expected. I believe she was in the elementary school as well as the high school at one time. But she really wasn't just satisfied with teaching. She started things like the Junior Honor Society, was very involved, I believe, in starting the Gifted and Talented program. She was highly respected by her students, particularly, I think, the toughest or most challenging students, let's say. That she just had a way about her of being firm and setting the limits that were needed, but also being caring and trying to understand where those kids were coming from. She got me through graduate school by helping to take care of my kids while I was working part-time, going to social work school, and she would pick them up after school. This is when they were little, so you can imagine her two boys and my son and daughter could get into a little bit of trouble now and then, but she handled it nonetheless. So one day, she told me as I arrived to pick up the kids that her oldest son, Nicholas, and my daughter, Katie, had decided to powder Nicholas's bedroom. And this is when they were 4 or 5 years old. So she walked into powder everywhere. It probably took months to clean it up, but she kept going, and many funny stories that we shared along the way.
My name is Jane McDonald, and I know Linda Zakis through working at the Higgins Middle School. Linda is totally dedicated to the profession. That's, I think, what you'd notice first about her. She's very professional, she's very knowledgeable, very hardworking. When the names of the recipients of the 2025 George Peabody Legacy Awards were announced, I thought that any colleague of Linda Zakis would not be surprised that she was chosen to receive this honor. It seemed like it had just been a matter of time before Linda was recognized for her significant contributions to the Peabody Public School Department and the children that it serves. I first got to know Linda about 30 years ago, 1 year after I arrived at the Higgins Middle School as a 7th grade math teacher. During that time, the student enrollment had increased so much that it was deemed necessary to create another 8th grade cluster. So that fall, a veteran teacher arrived in Peabody to be the new science teacher. The new social studies teacher was going to be a young man who was going to begin his first year of teaching. I became the math teacher, and Linda stepped away from her work with the enrichment and talented programs that the city offered, and she became the 8th grade English teacher on the brand new Pisces cluster. It wasn't long before Linda was recognized as the informal but easily identifiable lead teacher on the team. Our classrooms at that time were located in the most remote area of the old Higgins building and as far away from the main office as any classrooms could possibly be. During the following years, we were relocated a couple of times to other parts of the building, and the social studies teacher and the science teacher may have changed, but Linda and I remained as the English teacher and the math teacher on the Pisces cluster. Right from the start, I noticed that Linda was an extraordinary teacher. In addition to being intelligent, conscientious, hardworking, consistent, and fair, she maintained high standards for her students, both academically and behaviorally. She worked collaboratively with the other teachers in the cluster, enriching the curriculum by advocating for interdisciplinary projects and activities. Whenever there was a new teacher to the cluster, or perhaps a new teacher in the English department, Linda went out of her way to offer assistance and guidance. She mentored many teachers over the years. Linda's establishment and management of the National Junior Honor Society at the Higgins Middle School was an admirable way to recognize and honor the students who worked diligently towards academic excellence. But more than that, it was a way to promote leadership, character, citizenship, and service within the Higgins Middle School itself. Having grown up in Peabody, Linda knew the city. She knew the city very well. In addition, Linda knew the students, and she served them very well. You could always count on students coming back after they had left the middle school and gone on to high school. Many students would come back just to say hello to Mrs. Zakis and visit with her for a while. It's not unlikely that those students also found something special and admirable in Mrs. Zakis.
It's difficult to describe Linda in 3 words. If I had to pick 3, what comes to mind is professional, dedicated to her mission, and compassionate.
If I had to describe Linda in 3 words, I would choose dedicated, effective, and successful.
Her legacy is the students, the hundreds, maybe thousands of students that she's taught, and what they've gone on to achieve in their own lives as well.
I think Linda's legacy will be that of a recognizable positive influence in the educational process in the city of Peabody, especially at Higgins Middle School. She touched the lives of thousands of students in inspiring them to learn and enjoying the process. She also did so much mentoring, informal mentoring even, and made new teachers develop effective strategies and effective skills. She cast a wide net, and I think they'll look back and remember that too, that she made a difference in their lives.
Well, sorry, couldn't get a better friend. We've been through a lot together. Keep up the great work, and congratulations on this award. It's so well deserved.
Linda, I want to say congratulations to you on this well-deserved honor. I truly am very happy for you, and I hope you enjoy your special evening.
Linda, it's sometimes difficult to go last, but certainly not least. And it's my distinct honor and pleasure to provide you on behalf of the Peabody Education Foundation as well as the City of Peabody, the George Peabody Legacy Award. And your name will shine brightly at the Higgins Middle School forever.
These are my notes. I knew I would be last because, as my son reminded me, when you have a name that begins with Z and you're the tallest person in the class, you are always last, although I didn't get the tallness. I want to thank the foundation for feeling that I was worthy to be included with all the spectacular, fantastic other people who are here today and being honored. It was a shock to me when I got the call, and I thought two things right away. Darn, I have nothing to wear, and I have to give a speech. Two things. Let me put it this way. It took me a while to really figure out why I felt I deserved this honor. And I had to reflect a lot. And you know, when you've been in education for 40 years, that's a lot of reflecting. So I wondered, why did I become a teacher? Whatever possessed me to become a teacher? And it immediately came to mind, which kind of surprised me that at this age, I finally figured it out. Thomas Carroll School, grade 3, Kay Apostolides. Does anybody remember Kay? She taught at the Carroll School, grade 3, in the same room for 40 years. I had her in the 3rd grade. I loved 3rd grade. I loved school. At that time, I was an only child, and school was fun. School had kids in it, and your day was filled. There was never a dull moment. I decided in 3rd grade, I'm going to be a teacher. I went home and I said, Mom, I'm going to be a teacher. She patted me on the head and said, you can be anything you want. And I thought, oh, that's good, because I want to be a teacher. And I kept that thought. Somewhere between the 6th and the 7th grade, I decided my baby sister needed to know the alphabet before she got into kindergarten. My first teaching experience. It was an abysmal failure. And I remember thinking, what went wrong? They make it look so easy. Yes, you can make education look easy. I decided at that point, okay, they made it look easy, but not really that easy. So what did I do? I spent the next years watching every teacher I had, the good, the bad, the really good, and the really bad. And I learned a lot from observing them. On to Peabody High School, where for the first 3 years, we had double sessions. Anybody remember that? Yes, 3 years of double sessions, and finally, I'm a senior. The new Peabody High School opens on King Street. Very excited. There was a cafeteria and a gym, and all of those things we missed for the previous 3 years. It was wonderful. 3.5 years later, I found myself back at Peabody High School as a student teacher. 4 months later, I found myself back in the building, which was now the Higgins Junior High, for my first year of teaching. That was very exciting because they handed you the book, they handed you a class list, and they said, go forth and teach. And that's what we did. And we did that for about 10 years or so. And then all of a sudden, now I have to check my notes, Ed Reform Act. It was like you wired us up to electricity, because all of a sudden we went from being in our own little kingdom to Chapter 76, IEPs, Common Core standards, assessments, curriculum guides, standards, frameworks, middle school concept instead of junior high, cooperative teaching, team teaching, agendas, educational licensure, professional development, MCAS, no MCAS. Okay, I have come to the conclusion that a good teacher is a forever student, because I have to tell you, I learned just as much from students and from teaching them as they learned from me. I made a long list of all the things I learned. I'm not going to read the whole list, from the students that I taught, because these things were the most meaningful for me. I will read them so I won't forget. A bad student is not a bad kid. Fairness is very important to students. I had to learn to really listen to what students were saying, not just hear them, but listen to what they're saying. They made me think outside the box. What happens when a student doesn't understand something after you've explained it 4 different ways and they still don't get it? Then the journey becomes go home, rethink it, and invent something new and try teaching it yet again. That was always a challenge. They made me laugh at myself, which is not a comfortable thing to do in the classroom, but they made me laugh a lot. And finally, patience. They taught me patience. Lord knows they taught me patience. In reflecting back on 40 years in education, I can honestly say there was not one day that I did not want to go in and work. And to me, that is the greatest thing that you can actually ask for your job, is to always want to go in. And that just about summarizes my experiences. And I want to thank everyone for coming this evening, even though I'm the Z and I'm last. They save the last for best, maybe? Okay, I'll take it. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Well, folks, it's been a great evening. I got just a few little housekeeping items that I'd like to share with you. First of all, there are beautiful flowers on the table. Somebody at each table, please take them. There's another event here tomorrow night, and we would like you to enjoy those flowers in memory of this evening. Second housekeeping item is I'd be remiss if I didn't thank particularly Mary Bellavance for her ability to deliver these types of programs that she handles with such finesse. She will say to you while she's working on it, don't worry about it. I got it, all set, and you know something? It's true. So thank you. I'd also like to thank my wife, Kathy, who's not a member of the PEF, but I would say she's an honorary PEF member because she participates in every activity we do. My beautiful daughter-in-law, Bridget, who took on the bartending. My beautiful daughter, Katrina, who also helped with the bartending. And last but not least, I want to ask the recipients to please come up with your medal so we can get a picture of you so you can be in next year's roll. Thank you and good night.